Hello, this is Molly from the CMSNet Help Desk. Today, I'm going to do a webinar on some of the changes that went in with the June 2019 change cycle. The one that I'm going to be discussing today is actually related to the review status of SARs. With the June change, the ability for user to update the review status along with the follow-up date on an awaiting service review and or pending SAR was added. So I will be showing you the new column on the search result list of SARs screen. I'll show you the new column for the review status. I will also be showing you how to update the review status on an awaiting service review on the view SAR screen, also on the modified tab, which is the enter SAR screen, and how to also update or add a review status on a pending SAR. In addition to that, how to add and update review status on a pending SAR that has an awaiting service review request attached to it, and also creating a new pending SAR and adding the review status at the same time as well. And also what happens to the review status if the SAR was actually authorized or denied. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So here I have my test user, and I have created also all my test cases so this county has some awaiting case review and some SARs in awaiting service awaiting service review status, and also some pending SARs as well. So before we get started, I wanted to mention that before the June 2019 change cycle, the SARs here actually used to say awaiting service review. We have changed it to say SARs, and the reason why we changed it to say SARs is because now we added to the home page quick link counter, we added the all pending SARs and my pending SARs. The all awaiting service review and my awaiting service review is still there, but it now has 2 additional links for the pending SARs, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So let me go ahead and show you the new column. So here we have, I'm going to click on the all awaiting service review. For the all awaiting service review, we added the new column, create date. And the ones that I really want to talk about today is the review status column. So this is the review status column, and it will show you the current. So the review status column is basically a tool basically for your county to mark a request that comes in or a pending SAR, either mark an awaiting service review or a pending SAR with a certain review status to notify your coworkers that it's in current status. There's no alerts, no notification or anything like that. It's just when they come in, when they're searching to look at an actual awaiting service review or a pending SAR, if it has a status, they will see the status on it. And if you happen to be on the search result list of SARs, which is this screen right here, there is a new column, which is the review status, and if there's a status on it, the user or whoever's looking at the screen will be able to see the status of the SAR, okay? So here, as everybody knows, if you have a temporary eSAR number / a real SAR number, that means it's an awaiting service request that came in on an existing SAR. And that SAR could either be in pending status or an authorized status. We do not allow providers to put in a request for a denied or canceled SAR. So the possibility is only for 2 scenarios, which is a modification to an existing pending SAR or a modification to an existing authorized SAR, okay? So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and move to the next item on the list, which is show you how to update the review status on an awaiting service review. Now, like I mentioned, an awaiting service review can be for a brand new SAR request, which it's just the temporary eSAR number by itself, or it can be on a pending SAR or an authorized SAR. And for this one right here, let's go ahead and click on the first one. This right here is on a pending SAR. And the reason why you know it's a pending SAR is when you click on it, it takes you to view SAR screen. You'll see the SAR status right here okay? So let's go back to the back screen. And I want to also mention that the back button does not refresh the list of SAR screens. So if you took action on a SAR or anything like that you had went through from here, go back to home page and click on the quick link again, and it will refresh. But using the back button just takes you back to the list, but it doesn't update the screens or anything like that. It doesn't, like if you added the status here and you use the back button to come, the status will not be here. It would take too long to refresh the screen every single time, so we don't do that. That just allows people, for this certain list and scenario, in the future with CMS Net usability, it will refresh, but currently right now, it does not, okay? And that's how it currently is working even before this June release. So there'll be no changes to the back button functionality at all, okay? So I'm gonna click on so earlier I clicked again on the second one that I clicked on was on a short eSAR number. So it was a temporary eSAR, it was an awaiting service request, a brand new request that has not yet become a real SAR yet. So that, when you click on the view SAR screen, as you know, it'll take you here and it'll tell you the current status. So you know this is not a pending SAR or even an authorized SAR. It's a brand new eSAR request. And you can, pen it, you can reject it, do whatever that you need to do, okay? So this is how you view the request. So let's go back, and I want it to quickly, let's do this one right here. So this one no, I'm sorry. I should have got a list before I started clicking around. Let's see if I hit an authorized one. Trying to show you, here we go. So the one that I just clicked on is an awaiting service request on an authorized SAR. And you know it's an authorized because when you come in, it tells you the status right here is authorized. Okay, so now that we said all that, let's go ahead and go back to the list and let's actually show you how to update. So let's find one that doesn't have a status. So here is an awaiting service request that does not have a status. I'm going to go ahead and click on the request. It'll take me to the view SAR screen, and as mentioned, this is an awaiting service request. It has not become a pending SAR yet. So as a user, you can scroll down to the bottom of the screen, and there is a new section called the Review Information Status. And the section has the review status and the follow-up date. Okay, so review status is a drop-down, and you can select from the drop-down. The follow-up date is for report running purpose. If you need to, it's not a tickler or anything like that. It's just when you put in the review status, if you want to put a follow-up date on it, you can, and the follow-up date will appear on the report when you run it, okay? But it's not a tickler or anything like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you. So here, let's just pretend that you review the request and it's ready to have, let's say, the intake team to review it to maybe pen the SAR. And I want to mention that there are no changes to the case note functionality on the view SAR screen before June 2019. The case note ability has always been on the view SAR screen for all SAR status, temporary awaiting service requests, for pending SARs, authorized SARs. So all SAR screen except for canceled and denied have the case note ability. So, and that functionality remains the same, no changes, okay? So for this change for the review status information, so your county just needs to talk among each other and say, hey, there's this new thing that came in, so do we want to use the follow-up date or do we not? So we did not make the follow-up date required because that's up to your county if you want to use it or not. So it's not a required field. So you can put it if you want to, just use the calendar, or you can free text it in, okay? So either way, and then if you want a case note comment, make sure you put in a comment. If not, then there's no case note, okay? So and if you want to state the status, you can. Intake team review. So let's make this more realistic, okay? So ready for, there you go. So you can say save. And the moment that you save, because you enter a case note, it says case note created successfully, and it says review status information updated successfully. So as you can see, the status and the date is here, and the case note comment is now down below, okay? So that was an example of me showing you how to update a review status and along with adding a case note, okay? So let's go back, and like I mentioned, the back button, if you use the back button, it's just gonna take you back to the view all, the list, but it's not gonna update. So remember this one right here, I put the intake team, and I'm just going to do a quick find to show you this is the eSAR number. And then I'm going to use the back button, and I'm going to do the find again. And as you can see, it found it, and the status is not updated. And that's because I used the back button, okay? So if you want the screen refreshed, click on home page, go back in, and as you can see, now it's updated, okay? So let's go ahead and go to the next one, and I'm going to go ahead and update the status only, just the status. And I'm just going to leave the follow-up date blank, and I'm going to say save. The moment I save, it'll tell you it's saved successfully. You can scroll down, verify. Yes, it is there on the screen. And now I'm going to go back to the home page. Scroll down. As you can see, here's my update. Okay, so if you happen to make a mistake, you put in the wrong status or something like that, you can clearly just go ahead and click on it again. You can even remove the status, put it back to select, and save. And if you go back out, click on the all waiting service review, as you can see, it is gone. And if, let's say you've made another mistake, and this one should not be for the intake, maybe it's for the eligibility review, you can, change it to whatever status you want to change it to. And then if the date, if your county doesn't use a follow-up date, then you can remove it and then just save. All right, so that is how to update the review status on an awaiting service review. And and I forgot to mention that updating anything on the eSAR screen does not remove it from the counter. So since this awaiting service review was on the all waiting service review, as you can see, I was updating, removing, and all that stuff on the status, and it's still here on the all awaiting service review. Okay. So the next one I wanted to show you is actually pending the SAR. So I'm going to take this request right here. So it's an awaiting service review, and it already has a review status on it. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the Modify tab to take me to the Enter SAR screen to actually pen the SAR. So I'm going to go ahead and pen the SAR. And while you're penning the SAR, we added on the Enter SAR screen, we have the ability to update the review status and add follow-up dates if your county uses it. So here is the drop down. So let's say you're penning the SAR, and now it's ready for, let's say, medical consultant. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and submit the SAR. So I don't have any changes that I want to make. So I'm going to go ahead and say submit. And at this time, you can pen the SAR. You can say ready for medical. Something like that. Okay, and then save case note if you need to. So case note functionality, as I mentioned, stays the same, no changes. And as you can see, it is now a pending SAR. And if you scroll down, you'll see the status that we had put it when we put it and changed when we were pending the SAR. So it's here. You can see your case note history, and that's because earlier when I penned the SAR, I typed in case note and I click on saved. All right. So make sure you put in case note if you want trails. So that is basically how to update basically when you're pending and awaiting service review and adding the status at the same time. Okay, so that's also something that you can do. All right, so now let's move on to the next thing I wanted to show you, pending SARs. So we have here, as mentioned, we added the all pending SAR quick link. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly click on the link. All right, so we have here, let me make my screen a little bit smaller. Okay, so we have here the list, search result list of SARs, and as you can see, these are all pending SARs, and the review status column is also available. So if the pending SAR has a status, you'll see that they have statuses on the review status column, as you can see here. So let's just go ahead and take one and update one. So we're going to go ahead and take this pending SAR, and we're going to add an awaiting service review on it. So let's say you reviewed the SAR, everything's good to go, and you need to update the status. So as the pending SAR also has a review information section. So let's go ahead and click, and let's say this one is ready for eligibility review, and save. And there you go. As you can see, it is saved. And I mentioned earlier, if you don't do a case note, there will be no case note, no trails. If you click on case note history, there is nothing there. But if you want a case note, put that in. Come on, Molly, learn to sew. Okay, save. All right, there you go. All right, so that's case notes. All right, so let's go back out and let's go to all pending SARs. So there you go. That was the first one, and I put a review status on it. All right, so the next thing I wanted to show you is how to add and update a review status on a pending SAR that has an awaiting service review. And let's go back to home page and let's go to all waiting service review. So I wanted to mention before I actually show you an example, let's go ahead and look at the search result list of SARs. So here, as you can notice here, this one has one status, one status, one status, and whoa, why does this one got two status? For a pending SAR, providers can put in a modification to it. So, and because we allow you to put a status on a pending SAR, the pending SAR may already have a status, and then suddenly an awaiting service review comes in on it. So if that happens, I mean, your county just got to figure it out because this scenario doesn't happen often, but if it did happen, we do give you the ability to add status on both of them, either one. So you're just going to have to review it, okay? So this one right here, I just wanted to show you, this one does have two status, MTP review, and this one was for therapy review. So let's go ahead and click on that. So when a pending SAR, so only this scenario will only happen if it's a modification to a pending SAR, when there's an awaiting service request for a pending SAR. And you'll know it's a pending SAR when you click on it. And also because there is an awaiting service information section and a review status information section. The review status information section is always the status of the SAR, the actual 11-digit SAR, so the pending SAR. So it's always whatever is the main SAR, okay? And the awaiting service review is on the eSAR, the temporary SAR, okay? The ID, or before it merges to become a part of it. So basically, this is an example of a request that has both status. And let's go back to the home page. I'm going to go ahead and click on all waiting service review again, and let's go ahead and click on this one right here. And let's say, okay, good. This one is an awaiting service request on a pending SAR. So this, so the pending SAR doesn't have a review status on it, but let's say the intake staff got it on a modification on pending SAR, and they reviewed it. So then they can go ahead and review and say, okay, yes, I reviewed it, and this is now ready for the eligibility review people. So then they can go ahead and just save it. And as you can see, when you go to the home page, click on all waiting, and you'll see that it says awaiting service review, okay? So this one right here is an example. If you see a blank status with a slash and a review status underneath it, that means the awaiting service review doesn't have a status, but the pending SAR does, okay? So I wanted to show you. So I'm going to take this right here. So this awaiting service review, of course, can be on an authorized SAR or a pending SAR. So this is an example of one that is on a pending SAR that has a review status. So the pending SAR itself has a review status. So when I click on it, you can see it's a pending status SAR. You can scroll down, and the review status information is on the eligibility review. So we wanted to at least give you a way to know if the status was on the pending SAR or on the awaiting service review. All right? So let's go back to the list. And here, let's go ahead and click on this one. This one is on an authorized SAR. So if you had a status on an authorized SAR, case management review, I'm just going to put that status. And like I mentioned, if you want a case note, put in a case note. So you can choose a case note subject, and you can say, ready case manager. Or whatever you want to type, and click on save. And then if you go back to home, click on all waiting service review, you scroll down. As you can see here, it's just one status because you don't, for authorized SARs, you don't have the ability to put both status, okay? You can only put it on a pending SAR or a waiting service review. That's only for these scenarios that have pending So now let's go ahead and go look at the home page for, let's take this one because I know this one right here. So here on the I clicked on the all awaiting service review, so it looks like this. So for this SAR, because it has, first of all, this they have the awaiting service review / permanent, the pending SAR. So that's, whoops, sorry. It has the awaiting service review / pending SAR, and that's the reason why it has the blank status, because the awaiting service review does not have a status. And then / and then the pending SAR has a review status on it. That's why it has the /. So if you go, so now I'm going to go to the home page, click on the all pending SARs, and I'm going to find that pending SAR. As you can see here, that this is an all pending SAR link. So basically, it's not going to have the awaiting service review. So it only has that one status. Okay, just wanted to show you the difference. So, all right, so let's see what else I have to show you. Oh, okay, so I do wanted to show you how to add a pending SAR really quick. So let's go ahead and do that. So, well, you all know how to add a pending SAR already. So you can take an existing pending SAR and add a status to it, or when you're adding a brand new SAR, so I'm not going to really pen this SAR, it's like too long, but I just wanted to mention that in the process of entering a brand new SAR, if you want to add a status, you can. So the view status is here, and you can also add the status here, follow-up date, and then submit, and it becomes a pending SAR, and it should keep your status on the view SAR screen, okay? So now I want to show you, let's go find an authorized SAR that has an awaiting service review. So I know this one right here, we added the awaiting service review on an authorized SAR, so I'm going to click on it. So this is an awaiting service review on an authorized SAR, and because it is an awaiting service review, it will have an awaiting service review information section, and it had the ability for you to put a status on that. So if you work the request and you go ahead and, where's it going? Let's see if that would authorize. So you authorize. So as you can see, this is the authorized SAR page, not the enter SAR page. So the review status will not be here, because the moment you authorize the SAR or you cancel the SAR, the review status, oh, well, of course, then I have to choose one of these ones that don't work. Okay, that has a D&T indicator. But, okay, since I have override ability, so I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Ignore Molly on that step, okay? But I just wanted to show you that if you do authorize the SAR, that as you can see, the section for the review status is gone because you had merged it, and it's now an authorized SAR, and the review status only applies to awaiting service review and pending SARs, okay? All right, so next section is, let's see what else I need to show you. That's it. So basically, I showed you how to add the reviews, look at the column, know whether it has the review status or not, how to update, add a review status on the view SAR screen on the awaiting service review, so you can actually put the status on it, remove it, change it, update, do whatever you want, remove the date, change the date, save, add a comment if you need it, save. So I showed you all that. And now let's show you the new report. So I'm going to go, so with the new report is the SAR Review Status report. It's basically a new report that allows you to run the report to get status on the awaiting service review and or pending SARs with the review status that has the review status set on it, okay? So it's under reports, under SAR, and then under SAR Review Status report. So you click on that, and it takes you to the SAR Review Status report. And of course, you're going to choose your county. And the follow-up date, so this is a little bit tricky, because if your county uses the follow-up date, then you can put the follow-up date. If not, if you don't know, then and you want everything, just go ahead and leave the date blank, okay? So if you want all the status, you can. Or if you want all the review status, so this one is SAR status, this one is review status. So if you want to, there's a select all, so you don't have to click, do the control and click and stuff like that. But if you only want certain ones, then yes, you can just do a waiting service. Maybe you just want the waiting service, and then you want all the review status, and then so you can just do that, and then you click Run Report, and the pop-up's going to come up, and it says do you want to? And then you're going to say open, or you can say save as. I'm going to do open for this one. And then it's always going to ask this question. Do you want to open it anyways? And I'm going to say yes. And then the report was going to come up. Now the report doesn't auto-expand. So if you find the information looking funky like this, that's because the column is not expanded. So you can expand it out individually, or I like to just go ahead and highlight B to M, and then just go ahead and double click, and it'll auto expand, okay? And the reason why I didn't include A is because if I double click on the A, that's way too long. So it's good to do B onwards, okay, for this report as a FYI. So that's basically the report. And since I left the follow-up date empty, the report included basically all my criteria of all the awaiting service review that had status set, and if it had a follow-up date, it will show the follow-up date, okay? Now let's see, this one is, let's do 6/28, okay. So we have 2 here. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to 6/28 and to 6/28. So I just show you the report on how that runs. I'm going to click that, and like I said, open, and then say yes. And here's the 2. And like I mentioned, expand it out. Click on it. Oops, see, I must have not clicked on it correctly. There you go. And you have your report. All right. So that is the end of this webinar and showing you the new review status from the June change cycle. Bye.